I never thought my own father would stand up at my wedding and call me a disgraced dropout who played soldier for TikTok likes. His voice booming like a bad country sermon over the string quartet's feeble attempt at canon in D. The guests, 200 of them, from my old unit to his Bible study cronies, went dead silent, forks hovering midair over pecan-crusted chicken as he waved his iPhone 16 like a goddamn indictment, scrolling through some doctored screenshot of my failures. And then, before I could even unclench my fists under that thrift store veil, my groomsmen, Jake, Ramirez, and the rest of Echo Company, rose as one, heels clicking on the barn floor, and saluted me sharp as a bayonet. "Captain Cole, ma'am." Dad's phone slipped from his sausage fingers, cracking screen first on the polished oak planks, the Apple logo staring up like a betrayed eye. That moment, it wasn't just payback. It was the unraveling of every lie he'd buried under layers of Southern charm and small-town scripture, the kind of truth that hits harder than a .50 cal round. But let's back up, because revenge like mine doesn't brew in a day. It's fermented in the humid rot of family secrets, the kind that fester in trailers parked too close to meth labs in East Texas Dust Bowls. My name's Brooklyn Cole, and if you think this story ends with applause and cake, you're dead wrong. It ends with choices that'd make even the devil pause and light a cigarette. Growing up in Lufkin, Texas, population 35,000, soul crushed under the weight of piney woods and paper mills, family was the only currency we had. Dad, Harlan Cole, was the king of it all. Ex-Marine, VFW post commander, the guy who'd grill you a ribeye while quoting Reagan like it was the book of Revelation. Mom died when I was 8. Cancer, the quiet killer. And after that, it was just him, me, and my brother Travis, who was 2 years older and twice as mean. Dad called us his little soldiers, but it was code for boot camp at breakfast, push-ups for spilling milk, 20-mile bike rides for AB on a report card. Weakness is for quitters, Brooklyn. He'd growl, his breath like stale Bud Light, and regret. I believed him. Hell, I lived it. By 16, I was enlisting early, faking that parental consent form with a notary from the Walmart parking lot. Dad beamed at my swearing in, slapping my back so hard I tasted blood. That's my girl, gonna make sergeant before Travis even finishes shop class. Travis, meanwhile, was already dipping into the family till, borrowing Dad's credit cards for Monster Energy runs and hookers in Nacogdoches. But Dad covered for him, always. Boys need space to screw up, he'd say, while I'd scrub toilets at the VFW to pay back what Travis owed. Basic at Fort Benning was a revelation. Finally, orders that made sense, pain that built instead of broke. I shipped to Afghanistan in '09, a butterbar second lieutenant with stars in my eyes and a ruck full of MREs. Rose fast, platoon leader by year 2, captain by 4. Echo Company under my command. We were tight, a mix of farm boys from Iowa and gangbangers from LA who'd found Jesus in the foxhole. We ran convoys through Helmand Province, dodging IEDs like they were bad exes. I earned my call sign, Ghost, for slipping through Taliban ambushes like smoke. Medals piled up, Bronze Star, Purple Heart after a RPG grazed my thigh in Kandahar. But glory? That's a sucker's game. The real war was back home, in the letters Dad sent, whining about Travis's rough patch. It started small, Travis bouncing checks, Dad wiring him cash from the VFW slush fund. Family first, Brookie, he'd write, that nickname twisting like barbed wire. By my 3rd tour, it was bad. Travis cooking crank in the family shed, Dad turning a blind eye while pocketing dues from the post to bail him out. I got wind from an aunt, some side-channel gossip via MySpace. Confronted Dad in a sat phone call from Bagram, static crackling like Judgment Day. He's your blood, Brooklyn. You gonna abandon yours like some desk jockey liberal? I hung up, but the seed was planted. Loyalty's a chain, and mine was starting to chafe. Then came the incident. Fall 13, we're on patrol near Lashkar Gah. Intel said Taliban brass holed up in a madrasa. Rules of engagement tight as a nun's habit. Positive ID or hold fire. But my XO, Lieutenant Hale, fresh from West Point, all ivy polish, spots movement, calls it hostile. I hesitate. Shadows could be kids with kites. Hale pushes, Captain, we wait, we're the ones in body bags. One burst from the saw, 3 dead, turns out goat hurts, not fighters. Brass comes down hard. Inquiry, headlines back home screaming, U.S. atrocity in Afghan village. I could have thrown Hale under, but he was a daddy's boy with senators in his Rolodex. So I ate it. Court-martial loomed, but I pled to dereliction. 6 months reduction in rank. No jail, quiet discharge. Protecting the unit. I told myself, signing the papers in a Kabul hooch, sand stinging my eyes. What I didn't know? Dad had called in favors. Ex-Marine network, whispered to a colonel buddy. My girl's a hero. Pin it on the green LT if you have to. But Hale flipped the script. His family lawyered up, pinned the order on me. I took the hit anyway. Came home to Lufkin a disgraced captain in Dad's eyes. Because yeah, he'd leaked the story to the local rag for sympathy bucks. VFW fund. He'd been skimming for years. Travis's habit his black hole. My discharge. Perfect cover. Donations poured in for Captain Cole's redemption fund. Half of it vanishing into their pockets. I found out months later, digging through bank statements while crashing on Andy's couch. Betrayal? It was a gut punch from God himself. I rebuilt slow. Got a job at the lumber yard. Nights studying online for an MBA. Dated a guy, Mark, solid, a welder with AF, 150 and no baggage. Proposed after 2 years. Ring from Jared's that sparkled like hope. Wedding planning? A circus. Dad insisted on footing half, to show the towns what family means. Travis as best man, of course, cleaned up now, or so he claimed, running a consulting gig that smelled like Ponzi. I said yes, because forgiveness is the American way, right? Swallow the crow, smile for the gram. But deep down, the revenge simmered, low and lethal, like moonshine in a mason jar. First twist came at the rehearsal dinner. Dad pulls me aside in the church basement, folding tables sticky with sweet tea rings. Brookie, this Mark, he's a good boy, but you? Still carrying that desert sand in your soul. Let me handle the vows. I'll make him right. I laugh it off, but his eyes, sharp black, calculating. Later, I overhear him on the phone. Yeah, Travis, wire it tomorrow. The fund's dry. We'll flip the narrative. Brooklyn's the drunk vet, not us. My blood iced. The secret I'd buried? It was their scaffold. And the wedding? Their endgame. That night, alone in the motel off I-59, I texted Jake, my old platoon sergeant, now groomsman in chief. Echo needs to march tomorrow. Full kit. He didn't ask why. Brothers in arms don't need to. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of Lushker got bleeding into pine-scented nightmares. Dawn broke humid, the kind of Texas heat that presses forgiveness right out of you. I slipped into the gown, off-white lace from David's bridal, hemmed short for my boots, and drove to the venue, a reclaimed barn on the Angelina River. Guests milling, Dad's VFW pals in ill-fitting polos, my mill buddies nursing Lone Stars, Mark's kin from Houston in pastel seersucker. Travis lurked by the bar, eyes darting like a ferret in a henhouse. Ceremony time. Organ wheezes, here comes the bride. And I'm walking the aisle solo. Mom's ghost my escort. Mark at the altar, beaming, his mustache twitching like it's got secrets. Dad's in the front pew, iPhone out, filming like he's Spielberg. Vows start smooth. Mark's all in sickness and health. Voice cracking sweet. My turn. I open my mouth. Brooklyn. But Dad's on his feet. Microphone snatched from the officiant like it's a grenade. Hold up. Folks, before we tie this knot, let's talk truth. My daughter's no saint. The room erupts in murmurs. A collective inhale like the world's holding its breath. He launches in, venom dripping. Played hero overseas, came back a liability. That incident. Her call. Her shame. And now, marrying up like nothing happened? Nah, we own our sins here in Lufkin. Guests shift, some nodding, VFW old boys grunting agreement. Others, my side, faces hardening. Mark's frozen, bouquet wilting in his grip. Travis smirks from the sidelines, phone out too, live streaming the roast. That's when it snaps. Not rage, clarity, cold as a K-bar blade. I step forward, veil fluttering like a white flag of surrender turned battle standard. Dad, I say, voice steady, amplified by the mic he dropped. You want to talk sins? Let's. The groomsmen, 10 strong, suits tailored over tattoos and scars, file in from the side door, silent as specters. They line the aisle, shoulders squared, eyes locked front. Jake barks, low and lethal. Echo company, at 10 HUT. Heels snap. Salutes rise, crisp as fresh starch. Captain Cole, ma'am. They thunder, voices overlapping in that cadence that echoes from foxholes. Dad's jaw unhinges. The iPhone tumbles, glass spiderwebbing on impact. Guests gasp, some cheer, patriots to the bone. Others whisper, what the hell? Like it's a soap opera twist. Mark's eyes widen, proud and puzzled. Travis blanches, bolt upright. But this? Just the opening salvo. The real war was the one-eyed waged in shadows, the revenge that had been marinating since I found those bank records. Dad thought he owned the narrative. Turns out, I'd rewritten it line by line. The barn fell into that stunned hush where you can hear the river lapping 50 yards off, mocking the chaos with its lazy indifference. Dad scrambled for his phone, pudgy fingers smearing the screen as it flickered back to life. Cracked, but not dead, just like him. What is this circus? He bellowed, face purpling like overripe tomatoes at the county fair. Brooklyn, stand down. These boys ain't. They're my command, Harlan. I cut in, the name drop deliberate, stripping the dad, like peeling off a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. Echo Company, Echo 20. The ones you called glory hounds when I shipped out. The groomsmen held position, salutes unwavering, a wall of loyalty forged in fire he'd never touched. Jake's eyes met mine. Permission? I nodded once. At ease, gentlemen. Take seats. They dispersed smooth, folding into the crowd like they owned it. Whispers swelled. Captain, I thought she got canned. No, ma'am. That was the LT. Harlan, what did you do now? Dad's VFW cronies shifted uncomfortable, their support the troops, stickers peeling in the humidity. Mark stepped up, hand on my elbow, whispering, Babe, you good? I squeezed back. Yes, for now. The officiant, a nervous Baptist deacon with sweat beading his collar, cleared his throat. Shall we? Continue. We did. Vows exchanged in a blur, rings sliding on like armor plates. But the after-party? That's where the bones started showing. Reception under strung Edison bulbs, folding tables groaning with brisket and banana pudding. Toasts flew. Mark's dad on new beginnings. Auntie's slurred ramble about blood thicker than water. Then Travis, mic in hand, all faux humility. To Brooke, sis, you always were the strong one. Even when Dad and I, well, we leaned hard. Laughter, awkward as a root canal. He winked at me, like we'd scripted it. Bastard. I waited till the cake cutting, that Instagram moment everyone chases. Slid up to Dad by the dessert table, his plate piled with coconut cream pie he wouldn't touch. Nice speech, I said low. Travis nailed the delivery. His fork paused mid-air, eyes narrowing, sharks spotting chum. What are you on about, girl? I leaned in, breath minty from the Altoids I popped like ammo. The fund. VFW redemption slush, $47,000 over 3 years. Your signatures, Travis's wire transfers, to that came in shell. I took the discharge so you could play martyr. But martyring me at my wedding? That's sloppy, Dad. Even for you. He choked on nothing, pie forgotten. You got no proof. Lies from a bitter vet. But his voice cracked, that tell from 1,000 poker nights at the VFW hall. I'd hacked it all 6 months back. Nothing fancy. Just a PI buddy from Benning with a VPN and a grudge against frauds. Bank logs, emails, even a blurry photo of Travis in a motel with a duffel of cash. Dad's truck in the lot. Controversial? Hell yeah. I'd debated torching it all, letting karma's slow burn do the work. But no. Revenge demands an audience. Proof. I smiled, handing him a USB drive wrapped in a napkin, disguised as a favor. Watch it later. Or don't. Feds get copies Monday. His hand trembled taking it, knuckles white. You destroy your own blood? For what pride? I laughed sharp. Pride? You stole mine, Harlan. Sold my scars for beer money. He blustered, face twisting through denial to rage, but guests were circling, curious ants to our picnic of poison. Later, he hissed, storming off to the parking lot, Travis trailing like a whipped dog. The night blurred after that. Dances to Luke Bryan, Jake cornering me by the photo booth. Cap, this op clean? Echo knew the outlines. My family reconciliation briefing last month, heavy on the subtext. Cleaner than Lushker. I lied. Truth? It was gray as Taliban dust. Reporting Dad would have been easy. Whistleblower protections, parade of pats on the back. But that'd leave Travis in the wind, Mom's memory slandered in headlines. No, this was personal. Make him feel the isolation I did. coming home to crickets and couch surfing. Twist hit at midnight. Fireworks popping over the river like distant Artie. Mark pulls me aside, breath whiskey warm. Babe, your old man's been texting me. Weird shit about your instability, post-PTSD rants. Said you'd tank our marriage. My gut dropped. Mark? In on it. No. His eyes were hurt, not guilty. I told him to pound sand, but... Brooklyn, what's the play here? I spilled then. The USB truth, the Fed threat. He pulled me close, jaw set. Then we're in it together. But if this blows, we're ghosts. New town, new names. Loyalty. Rare as hen's teeth in coal country. Dawn crept in sticky, guests thinning to stragglers nursing hangovers. I found Dad by his F-150, slumped against the tailgate, USB plugged into the truck's dash screen, blue glow illuminating his defeat. It's all there, he muttered as I approached, gravel crunching under my keds. Travis pushed, said one last score. I protected you, Brookie. That court-martial? I greased palms to keep you out of Leavenworth. Lie wrapped in half-truth, classic Harlan. I'd verified. His favors bought leniency, but Hale's flip? Dad's anonymous tip to the press, framing me as the loose cannon to deflect from his skim. Protected. I spat. You pimped my pain. He stood, slower than his Marine days, hands up like surrender. What now? You want the money back? It's gone, Travis's holes. I shook my head. Want you to confess. Tomorrow, VFW meeting. Full board, auditors invited. Or feds knock Wednesday. His laugh was bitter, phlegm-rattled. And Travis? You jail your brother? Twist of the knife. Travis, the golden boy I'd shielded since sandbox days. Controversial as hell, blood or justice. I'd agonized nights, staring at ceiling fans whirring like interrogators. He chose the shed over me. Let him choose bars. He lunged then, not violent, just desperate, grabbing my wrist. Please, girl. We're Coles. Fight smart, not dirty. I twisted free, old combatives kicking in. Smart? You taught me that. Walked away, his pleas fading into cricket chorus. Back inside, Mark waited, keys in hand. Home. Yeah. But sleep? Nah. Adrenaline hummed. The high of checkmate laced with dread. What if he ran? What if Travis flipped first? Monday morning, Lufkin buzzed. Gossip hotter than a jalapeno popper. Mill whispers. Heard Harlan's funds cooked. VFW parking lot packed early. Old vets in clusterfuck formation, muttering about betrayal. I didn't show, sent Jake instead, ex-Army MP with a glare that peeled paint. Dad took the mic, voice steady as a drunk's promise. Brothers, I misallocated. For family. Gasps, then silence. Auditors from Austin arrived noon, badges flashing like stars. Travis. Vanished, truck gone, phone dead. Dad named names, his included, in a plea deal sketched on a napkin. Reporters swarmed by Vespers, KTR even blocking my driveway. Mark fielded them, all no comment, y'all. Inside, I paced, bourbon in a mason jar, ironic, huh? Victory tasted flat. Dad called from lockup, collect. You win, Captain. But blood don't wash off. Click. Polarizing. Understatement. Town split. Half hailed me savior, half ungrateful bitch who ratted kin. Online. Threads exploded. Reddits r/true off my chest crown me queen. Fox Local spun it Vets Revenge or Family Vendetta? But the real gut punch waited. Tuesday, package on the porch. No stamp. Just my name and Travis's scrawl. Inside, duffel heavy. Cash stacks, rubber banded. 20 grand, maybe. Note, kept some back. For you, sis. Don't hate me forever. No apology, just survival. I burned it in the backyard pit, flames licking high as my doubts. Controversial decision numero dos. Let him run, or hunt. Mark walked in mid-blaze, arms wrapping me. What's left? Everything. Nothing. Echo redeployed to civilian life that week. Jake to Houston PD, Ramirez to welding school. We saluted goodbye over Whataburger taquitos. No words needed. Aura, Cap, Jake said, fist bump lingering. Aura. But as they drove off, F-150s kicking dust, the weight settled. Revenge? It hollows you, leaves echoes in the empty. Weeks blurred into that post-storm haze, where the air's too still and every shadow looks like reckoning. Lufkin tried healing. VFW reopened under new blood, fund restitution checks cut to widows I'd never met. Dad pled out. 5 years white collar at Huntsville, minimum security with golf carts and Bible study. Light sentence, the DA called it. But his eyes said sympathy for the vet. Travis. Ghosted, last ping from a burner in Tulsa. Feds circled, but no bite, small fish in big ponds. Me? I quit the mill, cashed a whistleblower tip from DOJ, enough for a down payment on a cabin outside town, Riverview, Solitude's bomb. Mark and I honeymooned cheap, Big Bend, sleeping in a tent under stars that didn't judge. Sex was fierce, reclaiming what betrayal tried stealing. Mrs. Ellis, he murmured one dawn, tracing my Purple Heart scar. I flinched, old habit. Cole's fine, I whispered back. Hyphenate. Nah, fresh slate. But slates crack easy in Texas heat. First fracture, letter from Dad, forwarded from lockup. Chicken scratch on lined paper. Brookie, you did what I couldn't, cut the rot. But Travis? He's me, 20 years back. Lost cause. Forgive? Nah, but understand. Postscript, tell Mark sorry. He deserved better than our mess. I read it thrice, bourbon burning neat. Understand? I'd buried bodies for less. Controversial urge. Visit him, hash it raw. Instead, shredded it. Ash to the Angelina. Town thawed slow. Grocery runs turned interrogation. Proud of you, Brooklyn. Tough call. Or, Harlan raised you mean girl. Polarized as a Trump rally. Heroes and heathens, no in between. I leaned into it, started a vets support group at the library. Echo outreach. Free coffee, no bullshit. Tuesdays, 10 or 12 showed. Shell-shocked Iraqis. Opioid ghosts from Nam. Jake guest spoke once, demoing breathing drills. Cap, here's the real deal, he said. They nodded, eyes hungry for truth. My truth? It was shrapnel, but it worked. Twist dropped like a dud grenade, mid-October. Mark's phone buzzes during football. Angels game, Cowboys losing bad. It's the DA. Cole embezzlement? New lead. Your brother's in custody. Oklahoma border stop, duffel full of product. Meth, stamped with Lufkin Mill ink. Travis, dumb as ever, fencing the remnants. Extradition hearing set for Friday. Mark mutes the TV. You going? Hell yes. But why? Closure? Or one last gut shot? Drive to Polk County Courthouse felt eternal. F. 150 eating highway like penance. Mark rode shotgun, silent support. Parking lot swarmed. Reporters, rubberneckers, Dad's old VFW guard picketing with free Harlan signs. Inside, fluorescent hell. Travis in orange, shackled, eyes hollowed by jailhouse pallor. Our gazes lock across the gallery, brother to sister, blood to blade. Brooke, he mouths, no sound. I nod once. Arraignment's quick. Possession with intent. Ties to the skim. Bail denied. Flight risk. Recess hits. I corner his PD, a harried Latina with coffee stains on her blouse. He talk. She shrugs. Just family. Says you're the key. Wants a meet. Controversial crossroads. Testify against him, seal the coffin? Or purge your light, by time for rehab? America's gray zone, where justice bends for kin. I choose door 3. Truth, unvarnished. In the holding booth, plexiglass between us, phone greasy. Sis, he starts, voice cracking. I fucked it. All of it. Dad pushed the fund. I ran the shed. Your discharge? We partied on it. Tears track his cheeks, meth sores scabbing. But you saluted back. What? Why? I lean in, breath fogging the divider. Because Echo's family. You? Chose shadows. He nods, spent. Snitch on me. Clean the board. No beg, just resignation. I walk out hollow, Mark waiting with a Whataburger sack, ketchup for the wounds. Done. Yeah. Testimony prepped for trial. Every wire, every lie. Polarizing finale, ratting kin twice over. Forums would feast. Hero or Judas? Election night rolls in, TV's blaring red waves. Dad's appeal denied, full 5. Travis takes the deal. 8 years, Fed time. I watch returns alone, Mark at a union meet, bourbon my ballot. Phone rings, unknown Tulsa. Heart hammers. Brooklyn Cole. Female, crisp. This is Agent Reyes, ATF. Your brothers. Complicated. Pause, paper rustle. He flipped on a supplier, big fish, cartel ties. Witness protection, if he testifies. Your call influences. My call. The twist that splits souls. Save the brother who burned you. Or let the wheel turn. Controversial as pulling a trigger on a kid with a toy. I sip deep. Tell him yes. But no contact. Ever. Click. Blood absolved or damned. Debate fodder for barstools eternal. Epilogues quiet. Cabin life. Mark's foreman gig paying steady. Echo reunions via Zoom. Jake's kid calling me Annie Cap. Dad writes monthly. Poetry now. Bad haiku on regret. I reply sparse. Healing. Travis. Vanishes into Witsec. A new name in some Midwest nowhere. Happy ending? If happy's the scar that stops bleeding. But late nights, river whispering. I wonder, was revenge the chain I broke or forged tighter? Echoes salute echoes. Loyal, lethal. Ma'am. Captain. Brooklyn. Survivor. The iPhone shards? Swept away, but the crack? Lives in us all.